So first we start by opening the RSLogix500 software and just double click on that. It's pretty fast. This is the software interface, and we'll start by creating a new project. Right, first thing we need to do is to select the PLC that we're using. And so for this lab, the PLC that we're using is called, hey Mahib. Okay, we're using the RSLogix500 Series C with 1 or 2 COM ports. So we select the processor, we select the PLC processor first, and we hit OK. Then we need to add some rungs. Okay, so we can right click here and we can say insert rung, and we can insert a couple more. Insert rung. Before we start adding elements. Now in this example, we're going to do the and the or as well. The others are a little more complex, but you guys can handle that. So we'll add 2 of these here. So we click here, and so we can just copy and paste this guy right here. Can we? Okay, so you click here and you drag it down here, and when the green box appears, you drop it. So likewise, we need one right here. And for here, we need to insert a branch. So we say insert new branch. And we can drag this guy into the branch, and we'll click here, drag, and then you drop here. Now we need the output. So we click here, we drag, and we drop here, we click here. Okay. Okay, we don't need this guy here. We can say delete rung. Okay. Then we need to, essentially we're gonna change the addresses of this now. Now for this, guys, we get the address right here. So for example, the input port, this has 1 input card and 1 output card. So you double click on input, and we select the first address, which is I0/0. You copy it, Ctrl+C on your keyboard, and you can double click here and paste the address. Now we can do the same thing here. Now this one is just gonna be 1, so I can just put 0 and then put 1 at the back. Likewise, this one is gonna be 1, 0, 1. Now for the output, very similar. So this is the same address here. We can go on output, and we can double click here, and this is the address here for the first output port. So I'll double click here. This is the first output, and this is the second one. So I'm gonna change the address to 1. And if you look here, you can see this first output card is connected on the interface that we're using. The rest are there as expansion slots. If we expand it, then we can get it. If you wait for me, I'm coming. Okay, so we don't need a name for this one. Okay, so the next step now is for us to save this. So I'm going to save it as, in my documents, AC 2019 test 1. Test 1. So I'm going to save it, and then we want to download it to the computer. So we go on comms, and then we say download. Make sure the PLC has power, because now we are trying to communicate with it. And then, so we say yes, we want to communicate. It says it's in run mode, that's fine. We say yes, because the program is going to be written in the memory of the PLC, so that even though the power is off, it will still run. And yes, we want to go online. Okay, so notice what happens. Now the circuit is already connected. I'll show you how we connected it. If I change the switches here, so if I change the switches here, you see that so if I put, for example, switch 1 is on, switch 0 is on here, switch 1, you can see switch 1 is on here, switch 1 is on there. Just like in the Automation Studio. When I put switch 1, both switch 1 and switch 2 on, you can see that. So again, this is the AND logic here, when both of them are on, and this is OR, when either one or the other are on. Right? Now come on this side, I will show you the circuit, and that's it, and we'll be done. So just like in the first instance on the Automation Studio, you can actually connect your circuit using the symbols. Here is where we actually have to connect our circuit. So if you notice here, this is some switches that are provided on our PLC kit, and we have all the input ports for some of the input ports for our PLC. So I0/0 is actually this input right here. 0/1 is this input. So notice here, this has 24 volt already coming to it. And so when the switch is closed, we have a cable connecting this 24 volts passing through the switch when the switch is on, and it goes in through this wire into port 0, right? That's why we can see it active. Likewise, this switch is connected to port 1. So this is the input going into the PLC. It's reading the inputs and changing the outputs, right? And updating the outputs. Now again, these outputs are connected to the output port on the PLC. So if you notice here, we have a light. Just like in our diagram, the 24 volt is coming from the output, is going through the light and going to ground. This is what forms our circuit. So we have two circuits here. We have this one, 24 volt is coming, it's going through this wire, it goes through the light bulb and then to ground. That's why we have a common ground. We have a common ground and we have our different outputs, right? Okay, so the PLC involves three things. First, we need to draw the diagram. We can draw it on paper, that's fine. Then we want to go on Automation Studio and connect the circuit and go ahead and create the PLC logic. So the first step now is to come and put the PLC program using RSLogix in the computer, and then also connecting the circuit physically with the PLC and testing it to make sure it works as you design it to work. And these are the steps that are involved. So I hope you can take these instructions and you can complete your lab number 1.
Okay, please, I hope that this video was helpful and that you can have the steps that you need to actually use the software to complete your lab. If you have any questions, you can feel free to see me. Thank you. Thank you to Al-Zahar for recording this video. I really appreciate it. Thank you.